Hi, gorgeous. Welcome back to the School of Sensuality. I'm excited to have my beautiful friend Shannon on the podcast this morning. And we are diving into a subject that's really close to my heart around breathwork and how we can use breathwork in our day-to-day life, as well as in the bedroom, as breathwork was one of the most probably transformational starts of my self-discovery journey. And I'm guessing it was for you as well, being working in this
Absolutely.
space. So I would love to start with that. It was like, what led you to discover breath work and how did you, start practicing using your breath and breath work?
Yeah, so I did my very first breath experience not long out of my DV relationship. So I had a really intense ending to a really traumatic, abusive relationship. And I went to Perth. I was like, I'm going to go see my girlfriends. I'm going to go have this like nice time with my friends. We're just going to chill out and do whatever. And one of my beautiful friends was like, let's go do this meditation event. Like, just come to this thing. It's just like meditation. And I'm like, sure, I know how to meditate. Let's go do that. Anyone who has done breath work knows it's quite different to just a meditation. And I went into this event with like zero expectations, thinking I was just going to relax. Excuse me, came at the end. However, in that session, I was able to bring up emotions that I had kept like under lock and key for a very long time. I was able to process things that had happened in my relationship. I was able to really just let go. I even say, like, I went into it looking all glamorous and beautiful and kind of came out of it looking like an electrified cat, but I felt fucking amazing. I came out of it feeling so light and so free. And I'd been in talk therapy for a long time, especially coming out of that abusive relationship. I got support from the government, psychology, that kind of thing. But I didn't really have a whole lot of relief from that. And then when I went and did this session, it was only 45 minutes. And I came out of that like feeling better than I'd had since I was a teenager. And I was like, there's something in this. I need to know more about this breath work thing. And so I started learning and studying. But back then, that was like 7 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot out there. There was like Wim Hof. And that was really it, unless you were doing like pranayama with yogis and that you didn't really know a whole lot about breath work. So I went and did a breathwork facilitator training, not because I wanted to be a facilitator, but just because I wanted more knowledge and more experience. And I came out of it like, I'm a breathwork facilitator. I need to give this to everyone. So that's
I
kind of
love
how I
that.
found it.
Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing. And I've actually got a really, really similar journey. So it's my best friend. She was like, "Oh, I've got this ticket for this cacao and breathwork ceremony." I'm like, "What's this? Like, this is so random hippie woo-woo stuff. Like, what am I going to?" I was like, "Sure, let's go." And we've gone and we've had this experience. And it was a 3-hour workshop with, breathwork, meditation, and cacao. And then at the end of that, I've come out of that. I was like, what on earth just happened? I was like, same as you, my emotions woke up, like I could feel, I
Yeah.
was visioning. It was literally like I felt like I was a witch. I was like,
Yeah.
so much energy. Like, what is this magic? And I was like, I need to learn more of this. And it was
Yeah.
exactly the same. And then I went on that path as well to learn to study. I remember reading the Wim Hof book around that
Yeah.
time and doing breathwork facilitator training. And it was just like it just kept on unlocking all these
Mm.
magical paths of how we can use breathwork into our life. And I'm going
Yeah.
to circle it back around. And as you said, when you were coming out of your relationship and you found breathwork, what practices or how did actually like what were you implementing within breathwork, like a specific practice, or how are you using breathwork to help you move through the emotions after the relationship? So there might be listeners out there, like maybe they're in an uncomfortable relationship or they are in a DV relationship and they're just so much in their head, stressed and overwhelmed because of what's happening in their life. So I'd love to share like a practice that supported you on that process.
Absolutely. A lot of the times when we see breath work online, it's a lot of holotropic breathing styles. So, like a hyperventilation, fast breathing, which is so amazing for trauma release. It's great to bring up emotions that have been stored. However, it can be a lot for some people who haven't tapped into that feeling or who have experienced a lot of trauma. It can be sometimes, if it's not facilitated well, re traumatizing, right? Something that really helped me at the time, like I did do that. That was my first session, that holotropic one. And what I found was as I started to go deeper into the realm of breath work, I started to learn about slow breathing and actually down regulating my nervous system. And what I did was every single day, I just implemented a practice like coherence breathing or a physiological sigh for 5 minutes when I woke up. Or every time I felt triggered, I would just bring in these slow breathing practices to just really bring myself back down, bring my body into balance, bring myself more into my feminine. And that was what helped me. That was really, it was the trauma release stuff was phenomenal. Doing that whilst being facilitated really helped me. But it was those daily practices of down regulating my nervous system when I was heightened, when I was triggered, when I wanted to run away. It was just those moments that brought me back into the present and safety within my body.
Wow, beautiful. And just for
Mm.
someone like listening, when you were experiencing, like, when your nervous system was a little bit frazzled, what were the feelings that were coming up when you had a like frazzled nervous system? And then what were the feelings that you were getting in your body after you've implemented that slow breath work?
So at the time, I would either navigate like fear around like being alone. So I would have these like moments of like, oh my God, I just want to message him or I want to lean into that relationship because I don't know how to be by myself. And this like fear of being alone was there because I left that relationship and I lived by myself for 6 months for the first time of my life, just me and my dogs. And so I was like, I just have these moments where I would pick up my phone and I'd be like, hang on, no, I need to stop. Like, this is just a fear response and it's not me. It's not the truth of who I am. And so then I would just have those breathing practices and just come back to quiet and stillness within myself and be safe to be in that stillness. And then other times, like at the time, I was still drinking alcohol. So if I'd had a couple of drinks here and there, and I would have moments of like just getting sad, like really down about my life and down about the experiences that I'd had because I hadn't come out the other side to get to the empowerment yet. And so when I would have those sad moments, I would just breathe and just slow it down. And it actually helped me stay away from alcohol as well because it was like, brought me into so much presence that I was like, this isn't serving me. Like, this is making me feel worse and it's not helping me to heal. It's keeping me sort of trapped and it's blocking my nervous system from completing the cycle that it needs to complete.
Yeah.
Like, our emotions are so safe to be felt and they need to come to completion. But sometimes we create like a compulsion of like, oh, I'm going to go scroll on my phone or I'm going to go have a glass of wine or I'm going to get on the phone with my girlfriend and talk about other stuff or something that's there that is blocking you from that feeling or that emotion. And that's what I noticed was when that would come up, I would have that compulsion to stop the feeling. And so it
Mm.
really just allowed me to be in it and to be safe in it and to complete the cycle that my emotion needed to complete at the time.
Wow, thank you for explaining. I like how brought that across and as you said, feeling safe in your body, feeling safe in your
Mm.
nervous system, and obviously, being on this journey myself as well. We, especially as women, we have gone through what we've gone through in life and we come into a space of not feeling safe, and then this leads into the everything that you've just explained. And I love breath work because it's such a moment where you can really connect in with your body and just allow yourself to start feeling safe. And if you've never felt safe in your body before, you'll be like,
Mm.
what is this new feeling? But when we can actually
Yeah.
allow ourselves, to calm that mind, to calm the nervous system, to feel safe within our body, then we come into more beautiful relationships. We have new enjoyments and pleasures in life because our
Oh, yeah.
bodies are actually in a space to be able to receive and to open full of safety. And I
Mm.
like what you said about the alcohol there. It's something funny I'm just going to add in here.
Yeah.
So back then I used to drink bits of alcohol as well, and there was we were doing shots. And when you do a shot, you get that like scrunched up face and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, kind of feeling. And
Oh.
because I'd had so much experience with using the breath and calming my nervous system and calming my body, we would be
Mm.
out doing shots. And I was like, okay, guys, before we do shots, everyone, after you've done your shot, you need to take a long, deep breath. And so we would do the shot and then instantly take that long, deep breath. And so that was
Yes.
automatically regulating our body and our nervous system after the alcohol
Mm.
has entered our system, rather than getting that like that heightened, that scrunched up
Yeah.
sour face and feeling like cool about it. And then so every time we would go out and when my friends would be, we would have alcohol. I was like, okay, wait, we need to take a long, deep breath. And it just became this fun
I
breathwork.
like that.
It just became a fun thing that we would do
Yeah.
within our friends and group. And even like, you can do this on a night out, you can do this in a ceremony.
Hmm.
And it really shows how you can like use breathwork in every area of your life. And I like how you said in the mornings, you bring it into a space of just having some slow breathing. Like we don't need to be doing
Mm.
that holotropic 3 hour session each time. Just giving yourself
Yeah,
5 minutes a day to really to calm the system and to breathe as well. What
absolutely.
for beginners who are maybe listening to this and learning about breath work, what was a practice that you would give to beginners to do how to do breath work?
It would literally be the coherence breathing in the morning. I say this because so many people wake up and like, oh, I'm awake, oh, I'm tired, the morning routine. And a lot of people will reach for coffee, like go straight to the kitchen, have a cup of coffee. Maybe it's cacao if you're someone who likes cacao. My thing is like wake up and just sit in stillness and do some coherence breathing, which is like 5 minutes of 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, just keeping it slow, keeping it nice, keeping it balanced. Doing that for 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning is just going to help you enter the day really well. Then, as well, if you are someone who loves coffee, I really enjoy Breath of Fire because it gets you going. Like it makes you go really fast, and you're like, oh, I've got like this little dump of adrenaline. Okay, off I go. Now, it's not going to last as long as a coffee, but it will give you that little hit that makes you go, oh, all right, I'm energized. And you kind of have a bit of a laugh and you get on with it. And so it's really something that you can utilize in any moment to wake up, slow yourself down before you go fast into the day and then give yourself a little hit before you put the actual coffee hit in. That's
Mm.
like, honestly, they're my two things where I'm like, if you can wake up and drink half a liter of water, filtered water, and have some coherence breathing and then do a little bit of a fast breathe for a minute, you're going to feel so friggin' good and you're going to feel calm and relaxed and actually ready for the day, as opposed to just waking up, dumping the coffee in, getting in the car, going, getting in traffic, getting angry, and all these things are happening in nervous systems just like cooked as soon as you start the day.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for sharing. And I guess we can also implement that into the evening as well. If you've come
Absolutely.
home from work, like got the kids showered, bathed, whatever we do, had yummy time with your
Mhm.
partner, had the shower, then you jump into bed,
Yeah.
scroll on the phone and sleeping. That's a perfect window as well to add in some breath work into this, just calming
Yeah.
the mind down, evacuating whatever has gone out through the day so we can come into a bed, a place of being able to sleep better and having actually a good night's sleep rather than waking up within the stress and with all of that. And I know you also have
Absolutely.
children in your home as well. And I know like there will be a lot of maybe mums listening to this being like, but Katie, I've got kids, I don't have time for this. How do we fit this in?
Yeah.
Um, I used to be a kindergarten teacher, and I like my calmness and my stillness. And even though I had 20 kids in my class, I was on point to make sure I still had a calm environment. And so, what I would do with the children is we'd go into the gardens if we could, and we'd pick flowers. And then I get them all to sit down with a flower, and then like now we're going to blow on the flower, and
Yeah, I
then it was
love
that's
that.
it like that's just calming them sound because that's using their breath, that's breath work, and they're just blowing on the flower. And another
Yeah.
one was like pretending that we're blowing in a balloon, like
Yeah.
and like just little exercises like this that I would do with the children. So then they would
Yeah.
go home and obviously share with the parents, and they would go home and be like, "Oh, Miss Katie said we need to blow like a balloon." So in the car ride, everyone would be blowing like a balloon on the way home, and it was just so calm. And the parents were like, "Katie, I'm liking this topic. I'm liking how we can use the
It's
breath."
so good.
And
Yeah.
it's such a easy, simple, free way for obviously,
Yeah.
for ourselves, obviously coming through relationships and also that we can implement with children as well. And
Mm,
also implement it into the bedroom. And
absolutely.
what is your experience, maybe your personal experience with using your breath as a woman when you're in the bedroom?
My journey with breath has been so beautiful. So, one thing that I did also coming out of my healing from my previous relationship was I did a lot of feminine embodiment work. So I incorporated my breath work with my embodiment practices. And so my sexuality journey and bringing my breath into intimacy really started with myself. And it changed my freaking life. It changed everything about how I receive life. And so now in any moment of the day, like my partner now, Chris, he always says, like, it's just innately who I am. Like when I'm experiencing pleasure and intimacy, I'm breathing so beautifully and deeply. And something that I also tend to do is I don't breathe too much because our world and our population is kind of over breathing, which is why we have a lot of anxiety and a lot of symptoms like that happening because people are over breathing too much instead of taking it slower and deeper into the breath, even bringing breath holds in. And
Mm.
so I didn't even know that I was doing that when I first started doing this with myself. But when I was doing my embodiment practices, I would do these breath sequences and then I would hold. And then I would bring this pleasure into my body during the hold. And then I would breathe again and I would move and I would move and then I would hold. And then I would just gently touch myself and like just pleasure on my body, whether it was my arms, my face, and just bring pleasure into my senses. And so mapping that into my relationship now, when I'm intimate with Chris, it's such a beautiful thing that just happens so naturally. And that's my goal for all women is that we become our breath. We practice breath work so much that it just becomes innately who we are. And
Mm.
so when I am intimate with Chris, it's not like I'm holding my breath and then I'm tensing my whole body. It's actually just breathing so low and so slow. And then Chris and I end up coming into coherence together and breathing in sync and in unison together. And then when that like when you do come to that climax and that moment, like it's not tense. It's not I'm holding on to everything. It's like relaxed and my body is ready to receive that and just fully let go into that. And that has just been purely through breath and then obviously my journey beforehand with self-pleasure practices and stuff like that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. It's
Mm.
honestly so like it's so yummy. And I did
Yeah.
have to say, I just would love every woman to kind of experience this stillness and the
Yeah.
slowness with their breath as and then
Mm.
obviously you coming into the body because that's it. If we can just calm the mind, let go of the mind chatter, the overthinking and the stress, when we can use
Yeah.
our breath to come back into our body to feel, like you said, adding in some touch and just being
Yeah.
in the body, not in the mind
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
body, using the breath. It's ever so magical. And like I know I've deprived myself of pleasure and stillness and slowness for so much of my younger years. And so like now it's like I've really flipped the switch around. I was just like, no, like,
Yeah.
every moment is a pleasurable experience, whether that be, intimately, whether that be even when I'm like doing a task that's causing a lot of thinking or thoughts, I'm still doing it using my breath and coming into this calm space moment because
Mm.
my body just can feel so much more pleasure and stillness in those
Mm.
moments. And it's relating it back into the bedroom as well. I'm sure there's like women out there listening thinking like, yeah, but Katie, how do I just tell my partner that we're just going to do some breath work? And so like I'm just going to add in an exercise that ladies watching out there can share with their partner. So with my clients, I get them to sit just simply just facing each other and I get to play a little bit of a game. So one will
Mm.
inhale when the other exhales, and then vice versa.
Yes.
Inhale and
Yeah.
the other exhales. And at the first time you're doing this, you're probably going to be mismatched. You're going to be out of it.
Yeah.
You're going to be laughing. You're having so much fun. You're going to be thinking, what on earth is Katie Nurse telling us to do right now? But guys, just trust the process. So as someone is inhaling and exhaling, then you understand you'll be coming to a rhythm of circular breathing. And then
Mm.
when we're bringing our energy together, this is where the magic lies. And it doesn't have to be like you
Yes.
said, a 3 hour holotropic breath work. It can literally be
Mm.
3 minutes, both of you sitting on the bed, nude if we want to be nude, sitting
Yeah.
together, feeling each other's energy. And then when you're bringing this, you've activated and opened the energy within your body, and especially the sexual energy. Then when you take that into sex, that when the
Mm.
yummy part comes and there is so much
Yes.
relaxation. And obviously on the deeper levels it also helps with women who struggle to orgasm, with men struggling
Absolutely.
with erectile dysfunction, premature
Yeah.
ejaculation, because when we can use our breath we're actually in our body and not in our
Mm.
head, because the body is where
Yeah.
the magic, where the
Absolutely.
magic is.
And the breath is such a great way to stay in the body too. It's like those thoughts are going to come, when whether you're meditating, whether you're intimate, whether you're just like trying to regulate yourself because the kids are going mad. Like you're going to have the thoughts that are going to ebb and flow. And every time that happens, you can just bring more intention into the breath and it helps to just go, okay, come back down and bring it back in. And that's what I love about breath work. It's just that invitation to come back into yourself, to bring it back within. And it's such a magical experience, no matter how you're using it.
Mm. And like, I would love like oh we want this all the time, but for like just for people to experience this. So I know
Yeah.
you do workshops and trainings, don't you? So where can people find you to explore and learn more about breath work?
Yeah, so my partner and I run breathwork facilitator trainings. We have a level 1 and 2 training. So our level 1 training, we say like, yes, you are becoming a certified breathwork facilitator. However, this training is for everyone because you can come and have a breakthrough, come and experience breathwork and learn how it works, learn different practices that are gonna upregulate and downregulate your nervous system. And you're gonna learn the science of breathwork, which is still not as common, which is kind of sad, but still not as common out there to actually learn why it happens and how it happens and what it does for you, even just within your blood cells and your CO2 levels in your body and how that works for your health. So you can come and learn that whether you want to be a facilitator or not. Our level 2 training is our advanced facilitator training. That is for the person who definitely wants breathwork as their coaching modality or in business workshops, that kind of thing. They're our two main offers with breathwork. We have our Beyond Your Breath podcast, and that is, I love that space. It's where we go, we want to take you through breathwork and beyond. So we kind of have a bit of a free for all in there. It's where we have a lot of fun. So you can find us there. And then my social media is Shanni, SHANNIMARIE, Marie underscore. And then you can have access to everything through that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll put your links and everything underneath. And it's definitely like, and I think we covered a lot within this, of how breathwork can be used to overcome uncomfortable relationships, how you can implement
Mm,
this with your children, how you can implement this in the bedroom and just in your daily routine. And that's just
mm,
four basic examples of how you can
mm,
implement breathwork into your day-to-day life and how it's
mm.
really going to support you on this yummy journey of pleasure, because that is what the School of Sensuality is all about.
Absolutely.
Yay! So, for those listening, if you've got any questions on anything that we covered, you can pop them below or send me a message. I'll put Shani's links below as well. And yeah, we are here. I think there could be a potential of part two on this
I
episode. So
know.
you'll have to stay tuned for maybe a part two. But yeah, we're here if you've got any questions. And thank you for listening and watching. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.